Welcome to Phil and Bob's Treehouse.
The Central Park trees covered in snow. Over the Hudson, the sunset glow. The smell of halal and jasmine rice. A creep on the corner, don't look so nice. Now he's pooping, why I don't know. Life's full of mysteries, now it's time for the show.
Hi, I'm Phil.
Hi, I'm Bob.
We live in New York City, home to the highlights, the lowlights, and everything in between. This is our take on the human carnival.
Ahoy, Phil.
Ahoy.
Ahoy.
Why are you saying ahoy?
I'm in a sailing mood.
Oh, is that why you're wearing the sailing hat?
Yeah, I'm wearing a little boy sailor uniform and
okay.
cap.
It's a nautical thing.
It's nautical theme, the horizontal stripes.
Okay.
I've just been a little bit, went down a little YouTube rabbit hole of sailing videos.
Okay.
And it struck me that for a city, which is surrounded by water,
that's true.
Okay, that sits at the confluence of the Hudson River, and the Atlantic Ocean, that we as New York City residents, are so removed from the water in our daily lives.
That's true.
I think we touched on this in many prior episodes, but I really want to get into it today.
Yeah, there's a lot of water, the East River, Hudson, and that thing in the Harlem
River,
and,
and you go out to the Sound by the Bronx and City Island.
Yes.
You've got the harbor.
Yes.
Down by Brooklyn and Staten Island, where the Verrazzano Narrows Bridge is.
Yes.
For the out-of-town listeners, that is the start of the New York City Marathon area right there.
Yes.
And then Lower Manhattan, right? The Battery and Governor's Island.
Yes.
And then you go far out a little bit, you got Rockaway Beach, where people are surfing nowadays. So there's a little bit of connection to the water there.
Yes.
But otherwise, I think on a daily basis, people are just living in a landmass with rats and pigeons.
Well, that's true.
And hobos.
I think it's also like, it depends, I guess. I like to walk along the waterfront on the Hudson. I've talked about that on the little path up there.
Right.
You know, but you can really find yourself, especially and we may have talked about this before, but especially in the summer, some reason I associate with the summer, but it being landlocked, there's a feeling of, depending where you are in the city.
Oh, it is.
You can feel really
it's a heat island. I think the climate change scientists call it a heat island. It's all this asphalt that soaks up the sun's rays, and it just doesn't dissipate because there's not enough trees.
Right. So, yes, it is landlocked. And what do you have to say about that?
Well,
you've been reading about boats.
I've been reading about boats.
Yeah.
I realized I would never do it, but I find the videos very calming and meditative.
What, like sailing yachts?
Yeah, sailing, and people, it's a post-pandemic thing. A lot of families are just sailing around the world on little catamarans. Funding it, I guess, with some money from the jobs they quit or they make videos about their lives.
What are their lives like? Like they moved onto a boat?
Yeah, they moved onto a boat.
Yeah.
And one of the couples has 2 kids. It's just two
are they
adults
like
and 2 kids.
homeschooling and stuff?
I don't even know. I don't really think they care about education. These kids are getting an education in the ocean.
That's true. Where they just have they're just aimlessly sailing around the world?
Yeah, like one couple, the one with the kids is in sort of the South Pacific a lot, around Indonesia and maybe Tahiti, and the Philippines and South China Sea. They've gone around, and then there's another family that's in that general.
Are these
area
Americans?
as well. Americans, Australians. There's a Canadian guy, a gentleman, an older one who has a little 26-foot sailing vessel that he takes back and forth from Newfoundland to across the Atlantic to England. Yeah, by himself.
That's crazy.
It is. He looks like what he knows. Like he talks about things, and he's like, "Well, I'm going to hove to for the night and drop the drogue and tilt 30 degrees to port." And whereas the other families are like, we like it here, so we drop the anchor. And
no, I would find it very stressful. First of all, I don't know how to sail, but I guess if you're comfortable enough on the water, but if something goes wrong, it goes really wrong, really bad, fast, probably.
Yes.
If you're in the ocean by yourself and there's bad weather, it's all weather dependent, first of all. So like, and then you're in a boat that's not like equipped for some giant, series of waves or something, and you're fucking screwed.
Yeah.
That's
the thing with people don't realize when in a sailing yacht, when you're going, you're tilted. It's called heeling to. You're not really just flat on water.
Right.
Like the optimal sort of drag coefficient is achieved when you're tilted to the side. Which seems quite uncomfortable.
You know what is funny? Speaking of New York and the water, there's for the out of towners on 79th Street,
the boat basin.
There's a boat basin which is it's just a series of houseboats. Like it's like maybe it's like a block long. There might be 30 of them or 40.
Yeah,
of them.
they're moored there.
They're moored there. They're just they don't sail.
I
just
guess
flat.
They might be seaworthy. You never know. They have to get there somehow, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like they're just it looks like a little house. Well, I don't know, like a
houseboat.
Boxes sitting on top of just a flat thing that's just tied there.
Yeah. In the movie, not Sleepless. Was it Sleepless
I don't know.
in Seattle? The other one with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, the one where she's the shopkeeper.
Oh, the postcards.
Oh, You've Got Mail.
You've Got Mail, yeah.
And You've Got Mail.
Someone lived there?
The father of Tom Hanks lived there. I believe it was Dabney Coleman played that role. R.I.P. He just died.
Recently?
Yeah.
80s villain.
Yes, Dabney Coleman.
He
lived on a houseboat.
That's almost like a movie residence because for very few people live there. It's like, oh, that's a good idea. We'll put them on a houseboat. I knew a girl who lived in high school who lived on one of them.
How bohemian.
Yeah, it was unusual. And I think it was always like a sketchy thing. Like if she went out at night, partying and dancing and doing.
Well, you went to the discotheques, didn't you? Back in the day, remember Studio 54.
Yeah, and then so she had to go home. And in order to,
you were the best at the hustle. I'm sorry to interrupt. I think our listeners need to know you did the hustle very well.
Yes. In order to get to that boat basin, you have to, I guess you get a cab or something, but you have to get off at Riverside Park.
Yes.
And go down at night.
Under a tunnel, and then through the thing. And I always thought that was sketchy.
A little sketchy and possibly hazardous for a young girl.
It's a very rapey vibe under that tunnel. I hate to say it, but that's what it is.
True.
Yeah.
I think did you see that the Charles Bronson film
Death Wish?
Death Wish.
There was a scene there. Yeah, there were 9 of them though. There were 9 sequels.
I know. I think I just saw the first one.
And there's also been a remake with Bruce Willis.
Charles Bronson of indeterminate ethnicity, I think.
Like Mexican, Native American? Is he white? You know?
But anyway, he goes down. There's a scene in there in Riverside Park at night. I think he goes in that tunnel and shoots him. But so that's the houseboat. Hey, we are surrounded by water.
Yes.
I don't know. We actually, long time ago, we were talking about this the other day, activities that I haven't done in a long time and probably never will do again. But my wife and I did kayaking on the Hudson once.
How was that?
It's kind of a little gross. I actually might do it again. There's a little a kayak boat place downtown on the.
I bet the water's a lot cleaner now too.
It was okay. It was less clean than I thought it was because I thought it was going to be cleaner too, but it was still kind of gross. But yeah, I would consider doing it again. I suppose.
Yeah, I would like to. I guess mine. I don't mind having a little. I want to be more connected to the water, but I don't want to be on it like on a kayak.
You can walk on it like
I don't
Jesus.
I don't want to be slapped by the water. But some sort of boating vehicle.
Right.
And maybe I think it'd be cool to go up the Hudson.
Yeah, I agree. You can take those little things, those little boat tours and stuff.
Well, I don't want to be in a.
You want a private
I don't want to be
yacht?
in one of those circle lines with 900 people.
You want a private yacht?
Well, no, it doesn't have to be a private yacht.
No,
you don't have to take it there. You can a reasonable, medium-sized vehicle,
a little charter.
Yeah, maybe with some friends.
That sounds nice. A sunset cruise up the Hudson.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Or just even, I don't know, I bet there's some marina, if you drive upstate to the Hudson Valley, you can rent one of those 14-foot crab boats or something.
It's actually pretty nice.
Hand them your driver's license and just rip it up and down the river.
I mean, this is not exciting, but that other side of the Hudson, I drove there a few weeks ago. I had to go to a track meet to Nyack. That's pretty nice.
The other side of the Hudson.
Yeah, around that section.
Yeah.
You always people go and live in the suburb. They live in New Jersey and stuff.
Yeah.
Why don't people go live in Nyack? They probably do live in Niagara.
It actually, well, this may be
Is
for
it high
another
tax or
episode,
something?
but there was a Times article about there's a town up there on the west side of the Hudson, across from the city, where a lot of creative types have moved. Actors,
But not far
including
up.
Bill Murray.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, not far up, like an hour at most.
And it's like it feels like you go across, there's no traffic, and it's like kind of antique-y feeling.
Yep.
I guess. But it was really nice. It was rural and a different feel from having to struggle driving up through to like Westchester and stuff, you know?
I know. Except then you got to say either you live in Jersey or Rockland County. Choose your poison.
That's true. It's always bad. Well, all right. So that would be nice to be on a boat sailing.
Yes.
It's seasonal.
Yeah.
And
well, I always tell you that I like the idea of fishing.
yes.
I think we should go on one of those charter things from Sheepshead Bay.
Oh, yeah,
I want to
yeah.
catch like a tuna in New York Harbor.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you could fillet it.
We can bring it back and fillet it.
Yeah. Do you know how to butcher a fish?
I know. I mean, I could butcher a fish. Tuna is a big fish. It's like
There's if
1,000
you need to
pounds.
brush up. That's the other class of videos that I've been obsessed with. The fish fillet.
I've seen some of those things, Steve. Some of those guys are really fast.
Oh yeah, and they break down like a 300-pound tuna.
I like the meat ones too.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the water. I hope everyone just maybe if you're in the city, just take a look at the water.
Go to the water side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not far down to paradise. At least it's not for me. And if the wind is right, you can sail away and find tranquility. Oh, the canvas can do miracles. Just you wait and see. Believe me. It's not far to Never Land. No reason to pretend. And if the wind is right, you can find the joy of innocence again. Oh, the canvas can do miracles. Just you wait and see. Believe me. Sailing takes me away to where I've always heard it. Just a dream of the wind.
Shalom.
Shalom, Phil.
I'm saying shalom because you said ahoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you feeling extra Jewish today?
Jewy.
And before we continue, and I've done this many times, but if you're a new listener, before we go into this next segment, Phil
Yes.
is a Jew.
That's true.
You are descended from 2 Jewish parents.
That's correct.
And I imagine everybody before that was Jewish.
That's as far as I know.
Yes. Going back to the Aurignacian culture of Europe.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely am not. I don't participate in any of the ceremonies ever, or really any of that stuff.
Okay.
But yes, I guess
That's for another episode. I
culturally,
mean, I got to
you'd
ask
say.
why. We
I
could get into this.
I never was. It just it doesn't appeal to me.
Okay.
Anyway,
All right.
but I did get. You're speaking of internet rabbit holes.
Yes.
I got to get out of this like Israel Palestine rabbit hole on
Yeah.
the YouTube thing. It makes me a little nuts, and it's just full of people debating the issue.
I can't believe you went down there. I know where that leads, especially on that topic. My attitude is complete avoidance. If I see the headline in the Times, skip. It's just, you know what? Because I know it's a fucked up situation, and I don't really see it being solved in
I
our
know.
lifetime.
And like I literally, before I did this rabbit hole thing, maybe like a few months ago, I literally knew nothing about the whole subject. Like it's embarrassing that I barely knew. Like I literally didn't even know where. If you do a map, I would know where Gaza is. Like I mean, which
Okay.
is like I actually had a bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
Like I never been to Israel and never.
I've been to
after-
Israel.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, for work. Yeah.
But anyway,
But I literally, if you told me Gaza, I have no idea. And now I didn't even know there was a wall there. Like I didn't none of this stuff.
Yes.
And then those people, I think, I don't know, ironically, I guess, when they went and did their attack that day,
Yes.
brought attention to the situation.
Yeah.
And so now I'm educated me.
Good. Good.
But it did occur to me the other day that since we were in New York and I thought of a little, it seems to be a problem that has no solution
Yes. Is intractable the right word?
Intractable. It doesn't seem, yes.
It's a thorny issue.
I don't, it's a tough one.
Yeah. Tough nut to crack.
I haven't seen a lot of good ideas on that side.
No.
But I'm not sure I have a solution. But I have a sense of a possible solution, a vague solution.
Hold on. We might win a new Nobel Peace Prize here.
New prize.
Okay. Get going.
Well, I thought of it because I used to live. I went to school for years on the Upper West Side.
Mm-hmm.
And,
quite Jewish neighborhood.
Yeah, and that it's like the quintessential. It's like a stereotype.
Yeah,
Jewy. Like
isn't the original Zabar's up there?
Zabar's up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's considered just like Jew Central.
Yep.
Like liberal West Side. And it has all the accoutrements of that stuff. And the Jewish delis and the all
everything.
I mean, it's not like parts of Brooklyn where there's like Hasidic people running around.
But
it's just like
it's not all yarmies and top hats.
it's like liberally Jewy.
Yeah, like Reform Jews. I think they call them modern Reform Jews.
Modern Reform Jews. And my high school was up there and everything, and then I lived there for a couple of years. Also, near the Museum of American Natural History.
Yeah, the American Museum of Natural History.
American Museum of Natural History.
That's the one for our listeners in Cincinnati. That's the museum with the big blue whale.
Yeah. And yes.
And also the dinosaur bones.
Yeah. And
And Teddy Roosevelt riding a horse.
That.
Oh, they
removed
did?
that statue for correctness issues.
Okay.
So you lived up there. I like the neighborhood. And, there's, when you go, it's notorious actually for the shopping, the food shopping stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a place, Fairway.
Yes.
Especially.
It's a grocery store.
It's a grocery store, but it's been there a long time. It's like just like clutter, like a big grocery store, but it's not like walking into like Costco. It's like things are like they shelve them, but like probably maybe in the wrong place. Like it's just everything it's very cluttered, like jammed full of stuff and narrow aisles because it's New York and there's no room for big
real
space,
estate
right?
is at a premium,
and it's notorious for like Jewish like women, like older like Jewish women, like just shoving, being aggressive. Zabar's too, trying to get at cut lines and stuff and being pushy and push their carts around and being generally, what would you say? Just
I'm not going to say anything. Again, Phil is the Jew, so you make your sweeping generalizations about your own people. Please continue.
Well, so all I'm saying is that, there's a lot of pushy Jewish shoppers up there.
I'll take your word for it.
And I have to say, I was listening now to relate this back to, that's the scene here in New York.
Yes.
Now, I was listening to a podcast about the Israel conflict.
Yes.
They had this guy, Benny Morris, who's sort of a fat, curly-haired Jew who apparently is the big historian over there. He lives there, and he's written all the books about the conflict, and he seems like apparently he's like sort of moderate. He's not like on either side too much. But he said that and I'm getting all the dates wrong, I'm sure. But he said that like sometime in the 40s or 50s or something, when they split up the land, there was most of the people that were Arabs.
Okay.
It was like 2/3.
Yeah.
And the rest it was like a major heavy minority Jews. But when they split it up, the Jews like took the big slice.
Okay.
And they said something like some of the land, they said, well, we're taking like bad land, like the desert or something. And then they also said a lot of it is like a placeholder. Because the idea of Israel, I guess, right, it's like it's for if you're Jewish and you are oppressed.
It's your homeland.
So a homeland. So it's like the super tiny minority got this big space, not because they necessarily needed it, because like they just wanted to like hold a place for like the people who are coming. And I was like, that's fucking obnoxious. And like, that's what you do in the subway. You get smacked around for that.
Yeah, if you put your bag
in the parking lot, you put your bag on the subway.
It's like putting a bag on a seat to save the seat on the subway.
There are a million New York analogies that would go so wrong so fast. Like, I've been on subways. It's annoying. You stand there and there's someone with a bag on the subway.
Or a backpack, and they're not mindful of where their backpack is swinging.
Oh, you don't even have to be in New York. There's like YouTube videos galore of like people trying to save parking spaces in malls and stuff.
Oh, I've had that happen to me in the city.
And I was like, this is the Fairway issue. The Fairway
pushy shopper.
This is what's going on. And I think if you get at the heart of do you agree that's the mentality?
It sounds like it. And, but on the flip side, I'll just play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I think maybe after World War II, there are a lot of people feeling really guilty about certain things that happened. So they're like, maybe we should give this to them. But they didn't think through sort of what giving that to them would cause.
Yeah.
And then to your point, they gave maybe a little extra to them, or they gave some, and then the shoppers took as much space as they could.
Yeah. And then they keep taking extra shopping aisles.
Yeah, no, now there's a lot of shoppers coming from Brooklyn making, I think, what they call aliyah to the homeland, to Israel, and they're creating shopping lanes in the West Bank.
Yes, where there's not supposed to be shopping lanes.
Yeah, that was supposed to be that was the halal corner. That was the halal aisle of the supermarket.
Yes.
And they're trying to open the pathway into the halal aisle.
What we need is a more civil grocery store, essentially, right?
Yeah, well, good luck with that, right? There's just so much anger and historical beefs.
I know, but I think if we, my only solution really, and there is no, I don't see one, is if you accept, I feel like if the folks who are shopping in the wrong part, if they were just, they would garner a lot of goodwill internationally. If they would just say, you know what, you know the term be a mensch.
Yeah.
If they would just be like, hey, I think I overshopped.
Yeah. Let me go back to the kosher aisle.
I'm gonna go somewhere else, or I'm gonna go back to my area.
Yeah.
And it might be a little crowded or something, but I think, but in the long run, for the greater good,
yes,
I think it will improve our supermarket.
Yes, and the shoppers on both sides should stop occasionally running into the other aisle and throwing things and smashing up the aisles on the other side.
I agree.
Maybe everybody stays on their own aisles. and two separate supermarkets, maybe. Have two separate supermarkets that recognize each other as peers.
Yes.
That might, but you know what? Good luck with that, because I'll tell you, and maybe I'm just, maybe I'm a pessimist, or I don't know. I'm too. I should care more about trying, but where I am in my head is, I just hope that I don't think there's going to be a solution in my lifetime. I just hope they don't blow up the world before I die.
That's a reasonable goal.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, hopefully it doesn't head in that direction.
Yes. Thoughts and prayers.
But I feel like for now, if someone just stepped up to the plate and would be the bigger person, if the excessive shoppers and they were and they were like, hey, I think I'm gonna move back to my side. I feel like goodwill would rain down upon that.
But that's not
more selfless person
but
from the world.
BB is not that mensch, I don't think.
Well, maybe they need to find. What they need. That's the other thing I thought of. They need you always need a leader, and I don't think this is the person who's willing to reach across the
Bibi Netanyahu.
Yes, Bibi Netanyahu.
He's not a mensch.
Oh, and the other. I'm gonna close this section. By the way, I could be wrong about everything because I don't know anything about the history of this.
No, that
area.
sounded pretty educated.
But thanks. But the dates are all wrong, and I could have been wrong. But my other question, one thing that occurred to me, final thing about they speak Hebrew over there.
Who's
That's correct.
they? The Jews?
The Jews.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
or Yiddish.
Where did this? But when did that language develop? Like they went there. They didn't speak that when they went there.
Well, I guess Hebrew was an ancient language from back in the day.
Wasn't it like full of, but there were immigrants
in the time of Jesus. And then when they went out into Europe and stuff, I think Hebrew evolved into Yiddish.
Right.
But there was always, I guess, still people who knew Hebrew. And then I think they just taught it just as a matter of pride.
So it's not like a separate language?
Hebrew?
Yeah.
And Yiddish?
That existed for, it's an old language, is that right?
But I believe so.
People didn't know it when they got there,
when they got 1945
or something.
I guess maybe a lot of it, maybe it wasn't spoken as much as Yiddish, but Yiddish and Hebrew are very similar. I think Yiddish was an evolution in some ways of Hebrew. The fact that you actually had a bar mitzvah and you're asking me this, and I'm speculating wildly is fantastic.
It was an enormous waste of time in retrospect.
Yeah.
I mean, I retained none of it.
Were you circumcised at birth by a rabbi?
Recently. Yeah.
You did adult
Yeah,
circumcision.
adult circumcision.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that the bar mitzvah was a giant waste of time. I didn't even have like it wasn't even like I didn't even
You
get,
didn't
like,
get a
lot of
party?
I got like my parents had.
Did you get a savings bond? An Israel savings bond?
I mean, you know how like my parents have a certain ethic. How would you call it, an ethic? Or they have like a philosophy, which it's a little inconsistent. But sometimes in certain arenas, they sort of like to what am I trying to say? They think less ostentation. They have views on ostentation.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they don't spend money elsewhere, perhaps.
Yeah.
But in certain circumstances that are often ostentatious,
Yeah.
like they have certain views on that kind of thing.
Oh, so basically, I get it. So you're like,
so they look down. They look down on garish.
Okay, so even though they're Jewish,
Yeah.
they look down on that sort of stereotypical,
Yeah.
like post-war American, bountiful,
Yes.
over the top,
Right.
bar mitzvah.
So something like that. If a guy is like, it's. I think they think of it as a sort of like a gauche or somehow improper. Okay. To have like a big bash versus with like a band and all this shit for a bar mitzvah, say, for example. So I had like in their apartment. They had it was in retrospect it was kind of
was it kind of sad?
I mean, it was a party.
Were there even kids there?
No, I had maybe 8 or 9 kids, and we rented a movie on like a VCR and watched a movie in like a bedroom, in like their bedroom or something. But it was like there was no, it wasn't a sense of festivity necessarily. By the terms of your standard modern
like
image of a bar mitzvah. So. But that's a whole separate topic for a different time.
That sounds really depressing.
I don't remember it that well, and like the whole. I probably given the fact that like.
Oh, look at you complaining here. Did you have food on the table and clothes on your back?
No, it doesn't bother me.
Just be happy.
I don't resent them for it. I do think it was kind of a waste of time. The whole actually learning
Hebrew school,
all that nonsense. But whatever. That's a different issue. All right. Well, that's Judaism.
Judaism.
I don't know how to. I didn't even know how to say goodbye.
I think isn't shalom? Yeah, it's like aloha. It's hello and goodbye. Yeah, aloha.
Shalom
and mahalo.
Ilu ilu hotzianu hotzianu mi mitzrayim hotzianu mi mitzrayim dayenu. Die, dienu, die, dienu, die, dienu, 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 die, dienu, die, dienu, die, dienu, dienu, dienu. Ilu ilu koralanu, koralanu etayam, koralanu etayam, dienu. Die, 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 die,
Pizza.
Oh, you thinking about pizza?
Yes.
Okay.
Only because there was an article I saw in the Post last week, I think. You know the rat czar
of New York City.
In New York City.
Okay.
They unveiled. This is Eric Adams' big initiative to rid the city of the rats.
That's so magnificent. That's such a lofty
Which
goal.
one is better, more feasible, the Israel-Palestine thing or the rat thing?
Equally unsolvable.
Yes. And anyway, so I noticed that there was a press conference and the rat czar unveiled a new, was in Central Park, and a new type of garbage can.
Okay.
So the lady, I don't know her name. She was standing next to a couple of the standard garbage cans in Central Park.
Just like a round wire.
It's a round wire thing, but it's not. Sometimes maybe it was some of the ones that are little smaller holes on
it's
top
got the
for
little
the cans.
It's got the little swingy hole.
And then I think they pulled the sheet off of the new one, which is like a green rectangle.
Okay.
A vertical thing, and it's like. Is wide at the top and square, the size of a pizza box.
Like a standard New York City large pie.
Pie thing.
Yeah.
So the idea is it will reduce that kind of waste because you can it fits. For one, I guess, they built a garbage can that fits a pizza box.
Okay.
Instead of people trying to stuff it in and whatever.
I guess that is shocking to me. Have we become so lazy as a society that rather than having our citizens who go to a park and bring a pizza to the park, rather than have them take 2 seconds to like fold that up and throw it up, dispose of it properly, we've just got to make a giant new form of trash can that accepts this sort of odd shape of a New York City pizza box.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I didn't even occur that. I mean, I've walked by plenty of garbage cans with like crushed up pizza boxes, either like jammed on top or like just people throw it on the street or whatever.
Or they try to fold it, but then they give up halfway through and leave it in the slot.
Leave it in the slot, so no one can put any more garbage in there. But like my initial take was like, I wonder how much these things cost, and like, is it worth it? Like, are there enough people walking around? Like, people don't walk around New York City, like Central Park, with like just pizzas. Like, I mean, they just like get like a slice of pizza on the street and eat it and like to go. Like, I mean, this is like, you need to be walking around with a full box that you're going to go stick in a thing.
I think, I bet there was some data science done.
You think?
And they realized, when I think people bring large pizzas into the park? For Shakespeare in the Park.
Maybe.
All summer long, it's just large pizzas.
I would think people like that bring like canapes and
like a picnic basket.
Like they bring hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah,
fancy.
But I think there's some people who just want some pizza.
Maybe birthday
a nice
parties or
something.
something.
A coal-fired pizza.
A more gourmet kind of thing.
Coal-fired oven pizza.
Yeah. Well, maybe this whole thing will work. I don't really know. I'd like to sit down with this person and find out what other initiatives that they're working on.
But it is it's a little bit sad that they had to cater to the lowest common denominator. They're like,
That's true.
We could either try to get people to be mindful, or we could just give up and spend $38 billion on a square on a New York City no bid government contract to build a square trash can.
Yeah, it's just like adding more stuff rather than
really fixing the underlying problem.
Yeah.
Well, it also reminds me, I guess, in New York City, space is at a premium.
Yeah.
And I think that, people have these garbage cans that are very, compact.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in apartments, it's not like you can have like one of these huge suburban things where like the lid opens and you roll it outside.
Yeah.
I have a bone to pick. With the children of my current girlfriend of 12 and a half years.
Are they bad garbage people?
You know what? It's not like the pizza box thing, but they take they'll throw something out and like it'll be like a carton of something or like a box.
Yeah.
And they'll just throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
And it's empty.
Yeah.
But the volume taken up by this box or carton is like 90% of the available space in the garbage can.
Yeah, that's annoying.
And I feel like when I say like, hey, maybe like instead of just doing that, like fold, like break it down and put it in the trash.
Yeah.
It's like I asked them to run a marathon or something. Is this? Have I become an old man, or do I not say anything?
No, that seems to be to me reasonable. Along those garbage disposal lines, I have a brief personal history story. If you'd like to hear it.
Yes.
This was years ago, and I was living. Some people might find this humorous. I was living down in Tribeca.
Okay.
It's a sort of fancy neighborhood these days. It was nice back then. Anyway, so. But the rent was a little bit less.
Rent was too damn high.
and I remember I was using the kitchen and frying something. I don't remember what it was, but I had I had a big pot of oil, a big giant pot.
And you can't put that down to the drain.
You can't put down the drain, and this is where your laziness comes in. And I brought the oil to the window.
Oh no.
And I poured it out the window.
Why are you admitting this?
I'm just bearing my my
like onto
past
the
sins.
sidewalk
Onto
where
the
people
sidewalk.
were
of
people there?
Tribeca.
No, but you
no,
waited
it was
till
like at
nobody.
night. It was like
at night?
nighttime.
Okay.
It was like what they used to do in New York in like the 20s when there was like why there was so many like rats and
well,
garbage.
whatever.
and
People
diseases.
did that in the medieval times.
I know, yeah.
You, sir, are a filthy peasant.
So basically, I waited till nighttime, and it's possible I was drunk. I don't remember, but
That
like
sounds like something a drunk person
I
would
can't
do.
imagine I would do that not sober. But like I dumped it out the window.
Yeah.
And then here's the irony, which my wife points out to me a lot, which is the next day I left my apartment and I slipped on the oil and I cursed. I was like, "Who did this?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." That was
Okay. Well, that is not irony, my friend.
That's irony.
That's
That's-
instant karma.
justice, I guess.
Instant justice.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to realize that you were the fool that
It took me about a second, and I was like, why are the streets coated with oil?
Well, for our listeners,
Yeah.
I think I have a solution. I've done this too because, and not drunk, but
Yeah.
when I have oil
Yes.
built up in a pan,
yeah.
if I have like enough stuff in the garbage,
Yeah.
there's flotsam and jetsam in,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
trash can.
Yeah.
I just wait for it to cool, and then I just pour it in there and let like the newspaper
Yeah.
and the paper and
Yeah.
the little cartons in there just
Yeah.
soak up the oil.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
To each his own. I
Yeah.
know you're supposed, like Martha Stewart puts it in like a glass
In a little thing
jar
and
or
throws it
something.
away, yeah.
Or I don't know, does something with it.
Well, I just now I kind of wait till it cools and pour it into like a bottle or something, throw it away.
Okay.
But whatever. Yeah.
Or you could keep those bottles in case there's a medieval siege.
That's true. You can throw it out the
Like
window.
throw it out the window on
Yeah.
fire.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, I would just say if you were burned by hot oil 12 years ago in Tribeca, please get in touch.
There's a hotline.
There's a hotline. We apologize and we disavow that previous behavior.
Okay. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Okay.
Well, that's the show, folks. Our theme song was performed by Echo Strata. He's an incredible Brooklyn-based artist creating psychedelic alternative music. Check him out on Spotify, Apple Music, and iTunes.
Central Park trees covered in snow. Over the Hudson, the sunset glow. The smell of halal and jasmine rice. A creep on the corner, don't look so nice. Now he's pooping, why I don't know. Life's full of mysteries, now it's time for the show.
That was fucking awesome!
That was all right.
Yes!